Have you ever been inexplicably obsessed? Well, our next guest has insight in a new book the Christian Science Monitor calls one of the most peculiar and memorable you're ever likely to read about a crime. It's about feathers, the brilliant plumes that caught the eye of a 19th century researcher named A.R. Wallace, who came up with the same theory of evolution Charles Darwin did at the same time. And it's about the feathers that adorned hats that became such a sensation they wiped out bird populations, which today are again endangered because a group of fanatics are willing to pay top dollar for rare feathers to tie fishing lures for art. Which is why, in 2009, Edwin Rist, an American child prodigy flautist at the Royal Academy of Music and a star in the world of fly tying, broke into a British Museum of Natural History and stole hundreds of Victorian-era feathered bird skins. The book is called The Feather Thief, Beauty, Obsession, and the Natural History Heist of the Century. The author is Kirk Johnson, a former U.S. aid worker in Iraq, who we came to know in the early days of the Iraq War because of his obsession back then, helping Iraqi translators and fixers get to safety in the U.S. Kirk, welcome back, and what a book.
Thank you for having me.
And let's remind people who you are. You were nearly killed in a fall from a hotel balcony in Iraq. And you're laughing, but it's just amazing. In the early days of the war, you suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome after your time as an aid worker in Fallujah. And after you decided that you just had become too obsessed with trying to get Iraqis out, you were on a fly fishing trip to sort of calm your nerves. Talk about, this rabbit hole you went down, what you learned.
While I was on a river, my guide in New Mexico mentioned this thing about a museum heist. And he told me that a young kid named Edwin Rist had just broken into the British Museum. And when I first heard about it, it all seemed so strange as to be unbelievable. I mean, he said that the kid had stolen these birds in order for the feathers, which he would pluck and use for this sort of arcane Victorian art of salmon fly tying. And that he was hailed as the future of fly tying by this, what I kind of tongue-in-cheek call the feather underground. Mm. And the thing to know about salmon fly tying, which is very different from trout, is that salmon flies are just artistic, extravagant, aesthetic creations. They're rarely used